Masama bang lumaban para sa kalayaan? Masama bang ipagtanggol ang bayan laban sa pang-aabuso at pang-aapi? Masama bang magsalita para sa mga takot, mga tuwiran? Kasalanan bang ilantad ang katiwaliang nangyari sa ating bansa? Krimen bang maituturing ang pagpapakabayani sa sariling bayan? Iyon ang ilang palaisipan ng ating pambansang bayani. Ngayon ating tunghayan ang kwento ng kanyang buhay. Jose Rizal or Jose Protasio Rizal Mercado Alonso y Realonda was born on Wednesday, June 19, 1861 at the lakeshore town in Calamba, Laguna, and was nicknamed as Pepe for stands for Peter Potativos. Don Francisco Ingracio Rizal Mercado y Alejandra II was born on May 11, 1818 at Binyan, Laguna. His mother, Doña Teodora Morales Alonso Realonda y Quintos, was born in Mesic, Manila on November 9, 1827 and a native Santa Cruz, Manila. Saturnina, the oldest among the siblings, was commonly known as Nene. She was born on 1850. She was also the one who published the Tagalog version of No Limitang Hereong 99. Pasiano, the only brother of our national hero, was born on 1851. He was commonly known as Siano, but Jose called him as Uto. Narcisa, the second daughter and the third child, was born on 1852. She was called as Sisa by her siblings. Olympia was born on 1855. She was called as Ipia. Lucia was born on 1857. Maria was born on 1859. Her pet name was Biang. And Jose, as the seventh child, was born on June 19, 1861. Concepcion was born on 1862, was called as Concha. She died at age of 3. Josefa was born on 1863, was an old maid who died at the age of 80. She was called by her family as Pangoy. Trinidad was born on 1868. She became a keeper of Jose Rizal dirge called Mi Ultimo Adios. And Soledad, the youngest, was born on 1870, became a teacher. Her pet name was Chole. Rizal was first schooled in their home by his mother, Doña Teodora. She teaches Pepe alphabet and prayers. She taught him to read the Holy Bible, also tells him stories like his favorite story, the story of the moth. That touched him so deeply that he wrote it in his diary. Rizal has private tutors, which was Maestro Celestino, Maestro Lucas Padua, and his father's former classmate Leon Monroy. But after he dies, Jose's parents sent him to a private school in Binyan, Laguna. He was accompanied by his brother Pasiano. Pasiano was the one who accompanied Jose and brought him to Maestro Justiniano Aquino Cruz Schoolhouse. In school, he experienced being laughed by his classmates and bullied by Pedro. He was asked if he knew Spanish and Latin, which he answered, "A little, sir." He was laughed by his classmates, especially Pedro. Later that afternoon, he challenged him to a fight, but he can't defeat Jose because he learned the art of wrestling from his Uncle Manuel. After Binyan, trouble struck in the family. Doña Teodora was arrested and was forced to walk about 50 kilometers from Calamba to Santa Cruz. She was imprisoned for 2 years and a half. She became sick. This saddened the barely 11 years old Jose. Another incident was used by the Spanish authority to give an order to liquidate Father Mariano Gomez, Jose Burgos, and Jacinto Zamora. On the sunrise of February 17, 1872, by the order of Governor General Rafael Izquierdo, the three priests was executed through a garrote. This was deeply mourned by the Rizal family and many other Filipinos. Jose was sent by his father to Manila with his brother Paciano for the entrance exam of college, first at the College of San Juan de Letran, where he passed all subjects. He returned to Manila and went to Ateneo de Municipal. First, they refused admittance for two reasons, but because of Manuel Cerces Burgos, the nephew of the priest, he finally got admitted. In Ateneo de Municipal, he was an externo. He was assigned to the Cartesian. He was placed at the bottom of the class, but he did not let that as a hindrance of his study, because in his journey in Ateneo, he won first prize as a religious speaker. He marked excellent at the year-end recognition. Not long, he became an interno under Father Francisco de Paula Sanchez. Jose was known as the pride of Jesuits and graduated with highest honor. He also met Segunda Katigbak, a close friend of his sister, but Segunda was engaged to Manuel Luz. With that, he returned to Calamba nursing a frustrated heart. After 4 years in medicine, Jose Rizal left the country to continue his studies in Europe. He boarded as a Salvadora bound to Europe on May 3, 1882. His departure was only known by his brother Paciano, his two sisters, from some close friends and relatives, because he knew his parents won't permit him. Before he departed, his brother told Jose to use his name Jose Mercado so he may not be interrupted by Spanish authorities. On board, he enjoyed observing people, their behavior, race, and culture. His first impression in Spain was unattractive, hideous, filthy, and most people were unfriendly. His stay in Barcelona allowed him to write various essays, which was Amor Patrio, or Love of Country, Los Vejas, or Travel, and Revisited Madrid, which was published in Diaryong Tagalog. After his stay in Barcelona, Jose decided to move in Madrid and follow his plan to study at Universidad Central de Madrid. He continued his medicine and philosophy in letters, but he also took time to study painting and fine arts in the Academy of San Fernando, French, German, and English languages through a private tutor, and fencing and shooting at the Hall of Arms of Sans y Carbonell. During his travel, he was involved with Círculo Hispano-Filipino, where he wrote the poem Mi Piden Versas, or the Ask Me for Verses. He joined the Masonic Lodge in Madrid called Acacia, and able to write an essay entitled Science, Virtue, and Labor, and awarded as the Master Mason. He also experienced financial problems caused of minimal harvest due to drought and locusts. Jose Rizal was also invited to a banquet after the victory of the Filipino painters Juan Luna and Felix Hidalgo. Jose Rizal completed his study with excellent rating but unable to receive the diploma because he did not present his thesis or paid his corresponding fees. Upon completion of his study, Rizal went to Paris and Germany to specialize in ophthalmology because he wanted to treat his mother's eye problem. He met famous scientists and worked at the University Eye Hospital as an assistant of Dr. Otto Becker. On March 21, 1887, the first novel of Jose Rizal, Noli Me Tangere, was published. It was released with the help of Maximo Viola, and the printing house only charged them at the lowest rate of 300 for 2,000 copies. After the advice from Governor General, his family, and some of his close friends, Jose Rizal decided to leave the country, where he sailed from Hong Kong to Yokohama on February 22, 1888. Aboard the ship Oceanic, he also met the Spanish attaché in Japan, Juan Perez y Caballero. In his brief visit in Tokyo, he met Saiko Usui or Osei-san. He introduced himself and eventually became good friends. In his diary, he mentioned how intense his love and affection towards her. His visit in London was prompted because of his intention to learn the English language and to annotate the book of Antonio Morga, The Sucesos de las Islas Filipinas, or History of the Philippine Island. El Filibusterismo was published on September 18, 1891. It was the sequel of Noli Me Tangere, where Jose dedicated to the martyrs of the Cavite Mutiny. The execution of the three priests was significant to the title of the novel. Despite the opposition of his family and friends, Jose Rizal firmly decided to go back home in the Philippines and go to Malacañang Palace and extended his gratitude for the lifting of deportation of his father and brother. After the return and upon the publication of the decree of deportation, Jose Rizal was not yet exiled but temporarily detained in Fort Santiago. He stayed incommunicado for 8 days where he was treated very well. However, at the July 14, 1892, Jose was scheduled to leave Fort Santiago. He boarded the ferry boat Cebu bound to Dapitan around 1 in the morning and was arrived on July 17, where he was met by Ricardo Carnicero. During his exile in Dapitan, a mailboat Butuan informed Jose, Carnicero, and Ekelor that their lottery ticket won second prize amounting to 80,000 pesos. Rizal used his money to buy a piece of land in Talisay to build his treehouse. Jose Rizal also became a teacher to some children in Dapitan. When he started with only 3 students but increased to 21, he tutored them Spanish, English, mathematics, and how to work. On October 6, the passenger and crew of Isla Panay were allowed to land. This time, Rizal was subjected to a harsh treatment. At the prison fort, he was notified that he would be taken later to the headquarters of the commanding officer in charge of Montjuic. Not long, Jose Rizal was brought to a steamer Colon. The ship carried troops to reinforce the Spanish forces in the Philippines. At 8 o'clock in the evening of October 6, Colon left Barcelona for Manila.